On Sunday. Dude, this just
New
This
intro. Who this, man? What's up with it?
dude, this is one of those beats that will that'll get you going. I feel like the beginning to what is it? Father Stretch My Hands. Another Metro beat. That
No
will
Killer
just,
Mike, man, but I get it. Young Metro, you know what I'm saying?
Who's that?
And if Young Metro don't trust you, he'll.
Who's this Killer Mike you speak of?
Oh man, only one of the best rappers, in the world, and apparently no one knows who he is. Which is
Well, I mean, people know who he is. He won Grammys.
well, apparently if you're under 25, you have no idea who he is.
Nobody exists if you're under 25
if you're under
before you were
25,
born.
It was like, how come Ice Spice didn't win?
It's probably true. You think he the S?
You're not even a fart. There's literally a song called "Fart" on the radio.
That is one of the.
Here's that
best.
new point. Here's that new joint. It's called "Fart." Let's go.
I don't think the song's actually called
Look
Fart.
it up, bro.
Is that an Ice Spice song?
That's
It
an
is.
Ice Spice lyric right there. I think she opens the song by
You
saying,
think you the shh? You ain't even a fart.
Well,
The
yeah,
name
'cause
is
she's
called
a
Fart.
twerker.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are we talking about all? I love
There's-
the Killer Mike convo, but to divulge it or to dive right into Ice Spice.
I'm saying, well, yeah. I mean,
"Oh,
I guess
you're right. The song is actually called "Thank You the S." (parentheses fart).
so. Again, I was kind of talking to Joe. I'm not sure, Jordan, if you've ever seen the movie Idiocracy. So
yes,
you-
old Mike Judge flick. yes.
Exactly. So do you remember the scene where? And spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, but it has been out since like 2004.
4 or 5 ish.
Yeah, so if
we
you
were
haven't
all
seen
in
it
high
now,
school.
then sorry. Like this is just gonna get spoiled for you. But there's a scene where the biggest movie in the world was called Ass, and everybody was just watching this black and white ass for 2 hours fart.
just farting in a movie theater, laughing their asses off.
That's where we are right now. As a society, we're getting closer and closer to what Mike Judge and company predicted. Back in that movie, because, like I said, one of the biggest songs in the country is called "Fart." And it's not by Tyler the Creator, and it's not by anybody from Odd Future or any one of these kind of maybe a little weirder crews. No, it came from what is probably the biggest female rap artist, which is so sad.
I mean, she was literally in the same suite as Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl.
just looking awkward. Like, what are you doing there? Like,
Oh,
why
didn't
are you
even know it
even
was
here?
happening.
Like,
She there's a clip.
I want
of-
the Lakers to win.
There's a clip of like one of the other girls in there like explaining something to her on the field, like basically the game of football, and I was just like dying. I was like, I really hope she's like this chick is like really breaking down like cover 3 coverage to Ice Spice. Like, you see, you got a deep safety, and then you got 2 corners going back into coverage in those deep thirds there, and then you got to like
This is cover 0. Now they're 1-on-1 with each other.
I would have died if she's given her some like really complex like football stuff out there. Like, if you want to break the cover 3, yeah, you can go deep first, but you also want to do a flood on there onto the right side.
Yeah, I doubt that was the conversation. It was like, look at look at number
okay,
15.
yeah, I got
He's
it.
cute.
So what
That's
team's
what
the
it
red
was.
team? Yeah.
That's that does blow my mind that the song is actually called that. I didn't know that's what it was called.
I'll tell you, I don't lie to you, baby. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth about certain stuff, man. Like, and that's one of them. And yeah, it's pretty disappointing. And then the same group of people would have the nerve, the unmitigated gall to ask who Killer Mike is. Get out of here.
I guess I don't know. I don't listen to Killer Mike enough. Clearly, I listened to that last Run the Jewels album that came out in like, what is it, 2020?
But it was
or something
tight,
like that.
right?
It was solid. It was solid. But his last album, Michael, is the one that won all the Grammys here.
And only, you know what I think too? Kendrick Lamar came out in one of his verses. I can't remember which one it was and which song it was, so forgive me. But he said something along the lines of, if you were really a hip hop fan, then Killer Mike would be bigger. Like,
Oh, he did,
yeah,
yeah.
something along
He did have
those
that.
lines.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
But you don't like Kendrick Lamar, so
don't do that. Don't do that.
you just said that before the show.
No, what I said about
you compared him
Kendrick
to
Lamar.
Nicki Minaj.
No, I said at a point, man, some of it gets kind of boring to me. Sometimes for music, maybe I'm crazy, but sometimes I don't want to be preached at and rapped at the whole time. Sometimes I want to have some fun.
Shame.
Sometimes I want to have some fun.
Shame. You can
It's
do
okay.
that.
Not with Kendrick. Kendrick doesn't have a lot of like
Well, that's
super
what I'm saying.
fun
is
records.
You can do that. Just don't listen to Kendrick.
That's why I listen to J. Cole. I think J. Cole has more fun records. I think he's a more well-rounded rapper than Kendrick is.
Listen to N95. That's fun, I guess.
Who is? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Probably not.
Wasn't
that's it.
Kendrick Lamar in on like the NBA Live soundtracks back in the mid 2000s? I'm not sure J. Cole ever got in on that action.
No.
J.
Kendrick.
Cole's in the game. J. Cole is like one of the players you can play with and stuff.
Well, in like
Yeah.
in 2K21 or something like that, but not mid.
It was last year's 2K.
Kendrick Lamar didn't get big until like 2011.
Well, who am I
12.
confusing?
Nah,
with
it was
then?
like
I'm sorry.
2009 for Kendrick. You know, somewhere around there. Good Kid, Mad City was like 08. Or no, like 2011. Yeah, something like that.
No,
10,
that
10,
was
11?
that was
Yeah, I'm
20
going a little too far
2013
back.
Yeah.
2013, 2014.
Good
around
Kid,
there.
Mad City.
Yes, yeah, because I remember I was down in Eugene. I was living in Eugene, and that wasn't the last album I bought. It's at Best Buy.
didn't
Rest
actually buy
in
albums?
peace, physical media at Best Buy. No
Man.
longer a thing. That wasn't the last album I bought at Best Buy. Actually, the last album I bought at Best Buy was To Pimp a Butterfly.
Kendrick, great album. I think the last album I ever bought, and I think it was from Best
Physical
Buy.
media?
Yeah, was it's called Rich Boy. I had his album, and that was like 2006.
He
5,
wasn't
6.
Kendrick wasn't NBA
Yeah.
10. So I'm not
Yeah.
NBA Live 10. I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up.
What song was that?
Crap. I just closed the tab.
NBA 2K10.
No,
soundtrack.
NBA Live.
NBA Live.
Because at that point, he
Oh,
was in
yeah.
2K14, but he was also in NBA Live 10.
Hey, rest in peace
okay.
there too.
No kidding. EA Sports killed that one.
Yeah. Actually, we will get into some video game stuff later today. I think.
Okay, good.
I think you might know what I'm talking about. There's
see-
There's a game on the horizon. A game that hasn't been out in 10 years.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, MERS,
MERS.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Merz
yeah.
is dope.
featuring Corrupt and J Rock. We ballin'.
Oh, damn. That is old Kendrick. That's K. That's K-Dot.
Did I not say 2000?
Yeah, and anything
right,
with
you're right.
corrupt on it, I'm sold.
KURUPT.
That's it.
There's
Wow.
no other way to spell it, baby.
Yeah, we'll get into some video game stuff. We'll also get into some like real life sports stuff too. You know, actual sports that happen in our world.
Are we gonna talk Chelsea and Liverpool?
No.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
There might be some soccer talk. Who knows?
No, we don't. I mean,
There might be some football.
yeah. Football, football,
no.
Americano.
FUTBOL.
Yeah, you're spelling it wrong.
Yes, we're getting into that football. Listen, it's NFL season's over, college football season's over. I talked about this a little last week too. It's like there was that initial worry. I think like a day or two after the Super Bowl, I'm trying to find something to watch, and it's just like there's no football on Monday or Tuesday, like during playoff time, but it got scary for a second.
Yeah.
And I got a little worried. And then I got to last weekend and I was watching UFC, I was watching some golf. I was watching something else too. I can't remember.
The All-Star stuff.
Thank you. And then yesterday I was watching some Baltimore Orioles spring training baseball. I know you love that.
Stop traffic.
Oh, I know. I know you were watching it too. I know you were tuned in for every at bat.
I was not at all.
I got the Mexico Open on the TV right now. The PGA Tour down in Mexico.
We're not even trying with our names anymore of these tournaments.
This one they don't really care about.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
It's the Mexico Open.
it's just like I don't even know. I'm sure it has a sponsor. I couldn't tell you though. But they're just like, just call it. Where are they at again? Mexico. Okay, yeah, just call it the Mexico Open. And golfers are making me mad because they make it look so easy, and then I go to the driving range and I'm struggling for my life out there. And then there was something on the TV last night that I watched as well that was sports related. We'll get into that a little bit. What do we got? What do we got here? Blazers, they're still a thing. I want to get your opinion on something that was in the news over the last week.
Okay.
Some more NBA stuff. There's a team that has some 49ers vibes to me in the NBA. And then again, there was some I watched on TV last night that made me excited for the spring and summer, but also it got me a little mad at our city that we live in, which is nothing new because it just seems like all Portland does is just piss me off at this point. And also there's some hot seats in the state of Oregon as well. What else we got here? Court storming. It happened to Duke, so God forbid that we never do it again. But if you want to check in with the show, share your opinions. Vancouver Ford text line. All texts to the fan are via the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further. At Vancouver Ford, they treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit vancouverford.com. 503-864-6FAN. 503-864-6326. We are up on the YouTube. We have Jordan Schultz back in the building from his Boston trip. How was that?
Yeah, fun but not. I got sick on the way back. I was at a wedding on my birthday. Like, I don't know. My
Listen,
in-laws ended up pissing both
hold
my
on.
wife and I off. Like, it wasn't a great trip.
Hold on. Like, I don't know if for a man, unless it's your daughter or your son or something like that. I don't know if there is a more irritating thing for a man to be at than a wedding on his birthday.
Now, there was an open bar, so that helped. And the couple that I was watching get married, I absolutely loved doing.
No,
You know, it's not like people that like I'm just like, whatever.
No, of course, but at the same time, you're kind of like, man, there's should be celebrating me right now. And I the whole time, I can't even seriously at a wedding, I can't even tell people be
Just
excited
sitting
about
there,
it being
just-
my birthday because you're taking attention away from the bride. So
Yep.
God forbid somebody exactly that look you have right now. God forbid
It should be a
somebody else is
bar right now.
congratulating you or giving you well wishes on your birthday.
It should be throwing
As
ones in a
opposed
strip
to
club
the-
right now.
Right? Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. All the stuff, man.
I'm with Joe.
Wish I could be
No, I'm
watching
Team Joe right
football.
now.
Isn't there a UFC fight on right now? Missing
Sucks.
it all.
Be anywhere else.
I
No,
hope it doesn't work.
there was a very nice little gesture. A couple of my wife's friends did. She was very, very nice because I'm not going to say it, but she's like, hey, it's my hubby's birthday today. And this kind of sucks that like he's here. They brought me a cupcake. They did sing me happy birthday like during the reception. And there were people looking over like,
How-
the hell's going on?
what
at
was
that
the
table?
wife's
Who the
reaction?
hell is that guy?
My wife
No,
Leah? The bride
bride
was fine with it. No,
Okay.
it didn't. Because it didn't detract from
'Cause
anything.
now
at all.
she's sitting over there
seriously,
just
that's going to determine the entire mood of the rest of
Oh, they
the-
asked her if it was okay to do this. I don't think
Okay.
they would have sang me happy birthday without the bride's permission. This is not that kind of group of people.
No, even with the bride's permission, I'm just curious what the initial reaction was. Was it like was she participating and singing too and
I think
doing
she
the
was
high
greeting-
harmony, or was it more of a like, okay, thank you so much?
That's funny.
Can
You
we
have
get
the
this
slow
over
clap.
with now,
Get the
please?
hell
Golf
out
clap?
of my wedding.
Yeah, right.
No, there were 150 people there. She had to greet, so she was too busy to even notice. I think,
Yeah.
honestly. But
Okay.
you have a valid point. But no, I gotta go somewhere, man. I gotta go to the strip club, go to the go to the casino, do something
Hit
to
the
get my
casino
degenerate
up.
on because I am 35 now and I only have so many of those times left.
You definitely don't want to go to a strip club in Boston. So
No, well, no. A, they're way too expensive, and B, have you seen the talent in Boston?
I'm gonna
It's
guess
not-
something
it's
similar to like
not a whole-
Houston
yeah.
and Atlanta.
it's
There's a
not-
reason my
I
wife.
guarantee it's not a whole lot different than here.
There's a
See
reason
lot
my
of
wife,
glasses and ponytails.
who is a blonde, lives here and not in Boston. It's because she just doesn't fit in.
A lot of-
She's
Like I
hot. She looks way better and fits
Dark-
in
I
here.
can
more
imagine
so than-
lots of dark hair, glasses, ponytails. updos.
Those lace bows on the back of the thigh tattooed. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. Those little thing like
Oh,
little
that's
corset,
hot.
little things in the back. Yeah,
The-
absolutely.
I think that's like the new tramp stamp. Is if you have
If you have those, it's like, oh yeah,
Get
the
it.
lace
Let's get it
bow
on.
tattooed
Might
on
as
the
well
back
be a
of the
bullseye.
thigh.
might as well be a
Gross.
bullseye.
Oh God! All right, let's get into some sports stuff. Blazers, the ratings are down. Shocker. I think it's been a perfect storm. Get Rashad and Jordan's thoughts next, since Jordan's been out of town, and then Rashad. We didn't talk about this last week. We kind of talked last week about what is there to keep us watching and keep our attention. And according to the rest of the fan base, there's nothing that is keeping our attention at this point in the season. So we get to that next here. Sports Sunday on 1080 The Fan. Turn and burn.
Limit.
Come on, where's the salespeople? Why aren't they filling up the commercial breaks during Sunday? Wait, don't answer that question.
I might have filled that even further with promos too. So you're welcome.
How can you not hear the song and want to be like a Cuban drug lord?
I've never done cocaine before because I won't. I don't want to end up like Len Bias. But I want to do cocaine after I hear this song.
Man, it's one of those things, man. Like, I don't know, what it was, but man, Gino played the hell out of this role enough to make every time I hear the song, like, you know what? I think I know. I can find Poppy and go ahead and move some stuff. I think I'd be pretty good
You're
at
like,
it.
do I have enough money to?
And then the movie ends. I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Do I have
I
enough
think I'll be
money
okay.
that I can use a money counter? Is that a thing? Can I do
Yeah.
that? Oh wait, no.
No, if I get all ones, then
Yeah,
yes, we'll be good.
What is it? Blazers, huh?
Yeah, I guess, man. Like,
All right, see you later.
yeah,
Big gulps, huh?
cool.
They have seen a drop of 60% in their ratings over the last year, which I think is, I mean, it's a crux of things. You lose your best player in franchise history,
Stop.
and he is. He is,
okay,
Rashad.
well,
Just come to terms with it.
I will not, but keep going.
You also have a terrible TV deal. And I mean, the team is just not good. They are now in their third 7-game losing streak of the season, which might continue on. Their next game, I believe it's against the Hornets. So, hey,
Yes, it is.
fingers crossed. They actually play today at 6:00. Catch the fever. Let's see. It says on ESPN tickets as low as $4. They might pay you to go to the game.
Give them joints away for free. A Jamba Juice or something like that. Like,
Can I move down into the first level if I buy a $4 ticket?
Quite
we used to all the time.
But yeah, it's we're down bad right now. But when the ratings are showing that they're down that bad, 60%, one, that sucks. But also, get used to it. I don't think that's gonna change next year. I don't think it's gonna change the year after. I mean, this team's obviously looking at a lottery pick, and they're likely going to be using that lottery pick. I mean, there's no reason to be trying to make moves to make this team a winner right now or to compete. I thought they should have traded Brogdon at the deadline. I thought that, I mean, the Jeremy Grant thing, we'll see what happens in the offseason there. I mean, you signed him to a contract, so he's locked up, but this ain't something that's going to change within the next year. It's not like, we're going to get this insane development out of these guys. I mean, out of Scoot and maybe Shaden, but the thing is with him is just staying healthy and staying on the floor. Buckle up. This is what the Blazers are going to look like for possibly at least beyond this season, the next 2 to 4 seasons. This ain't going to change. This ain't going to change. And again, when we get a drafted player in top 5 in what is being called one of the worst draft classes in a while, like, you're hoping that maybe you get that Alexandria Sarr kid out of Australia. I've seen some other Blazer fans saying that they want Cody Williams out of Colorado, that he would fit well. The nice thing is the top 5 guys on the mock draft board are all like small forwards, power forwards, 6'8", 6'7", 6'9" guys, maybe a little bit taller than that. But again, it's like, all right, well, if you're going the youth movement, then you'll get some people to watch at the beginning of next year. But then as soon as they start drifting back into this territory, you're looking at the same amount of ratings as you are right now. It's a tough sled. And Jody in that franchise, they've got a lot of changes that they need to make as far as if they want to get fans back into the stadium and back watching the game. Hey, maybe a new mascot, like a Sasquatch or something like that. They got to
change
introduce
things.
that. Yeah.
Woo.
Man. So we knew this would be. We knew it would be like this. I mean, let's be real. Dame's not the best player the Blazers ever had. I'm not going to do. I'm sorry, a dude that's never won a game in the conference finals. I have a hard time saying he's the best player when you had another dude who was only comparable to Michael Jordan. That's another story. That's for another day. That's cool. The TV deal that the Blazers have always had has always sucked. And so if you're outside of Portland and you want to see the Blazers play, unless you had Comcast at that point or Xfinity or whatever we want to call it, then you weren't able to do that. If you had DirecTV, you weren't able to see the Blazers play. If you had NBA TV and that's where the Blazers were for the night, and you didn't have, and you had DirecTV or any other cable or satellite provider, you weren't able to see the Blazers play. They're the only team in the league that's had a very specific deal with specific companies, and nobody else. You can't watch any other team, or you can't, you can watch every other team but yours on any given night, because unless you have Root Sports, which who has Root Sports? I bought Fubo, the app, because I kind of canceled cable. It's the most expensive app that I have. Why do I have this? I have it to watch the Blazers. There's no other reason. I can get ABC and all the other channels everywhere else. I don't really need Fubo. But for whatever reason, I got it, and I got it to watch the Blazers. I never watched them. It's boring. We know the end of this game. We know how this is going to go. The Blazers are going to probably have a nice lead, or something like a nice lead in third if they are up, and they're going to find a way to trick that in the fourth, and then the game is over. We know we're probably going to see 60% of what the team is, because most guys are hurt, and so we haven't seen a full roster of this Blazers unit since like the first or second game of the season. Outside of that, somebody's always down. Somebody's been hurt. Obviously, Robert Williams since like the second week of the season, or whenever it was, and you end up losing him. They're not competitive. Chauncey's made no adjustments outside of taking Scoot out of the starting lineup, putting him on the bench, putting him back in the starting lineup. That's
and then now Scoot is hurt immediately after
the All-Star stuff,
and it's dope. So like the one reason that you would maybe get me to watch is to watch his development, and now he's out.
Yeah, and so viewership is down. Absolutely, it's down. Nobody wants to watch this product. And then because you've isolated the rest of the NBA, nobody was already watching your product. So unless you live in Portland, unless you live in Washington, that area, you weren't watching the Blazers play. And now that everybody sucks, or the team kind of sucks, you're definitely not watching the Blazers play. It's not surprising. There's nothing surprising about this whole thing, and hearing that the ratings were down is like, yeah, when you're getting blown out, by 30 most games, and you're 9 games behind, the second worst team in your division, there's not much reason to watch. You're one of the 5th worst teams in the NBA. You're one of the 5 worst teams in the NBA.
15-40 is where their record stands at right now.
Like, come on, man. This is not surprising. And for anybody that was surprised, like, I'm sorry. Whenever you lose, even with Damian Lillard, they were one of the worst records in the league last year. Like, we forget that part. Even with a healthy Damian Lillard for most of the season, you're still one of the worst records in the league last year.
Well, granted, they shut him down towards the last part of the season. That expedited.
Yeah. But even still, like, I mean,
that expedited.
Yeah, but even at that point, they were nowhere close to the play-in. Even at that point, when they decided to shut Dame down, like, and that's, if you're not close to the play-in, that means you're not in 10th place. You're not close to 10th place. That's where the Blazers were last year. So this isn't surprising at all. I mean, go Blazers. Still support, because the come up is coming, but we're just not sure.
Oh, buddy. I mean, again, I think you're looking at least 2 to 4 years.
I'll say closer to 2 than 4. I'd probably say that, because with the players you have now, I think it's coaching. That's me. That's the first thing. I think you get a new coach in there.
What do you consider the come up? Like where they've been, like fighting for a lower seed,
like I said,
just playing game territory, like.
Yeah, I think that's where it starts. That's where it started for OKC.
That's where, yeah.
That's where it starts. Like, you just start with the play-in. You start with getting. That's where it started for Memphis and Ja. Like, okay, let's just kind of get into the playoffs, and we'll figure it out from there. Because the play-in is still a playoff game. Like, it is what it is. And so, yeah, I think they're closer than we think, because again, we still haven't seen what this team healthy all the way could potentially be.
I'm not surprised the ratings are down. I'm kind of shocked that there are still fans out there that are kind of trying to put this on just the Root Sports price raise. I think you put it perfectly, Joe. It is kind of a combination of both.
I sent an angry email to Root too.
Yeah. Well, I
was so pissed.
Well, the $20 almost up a month. It's like, dude, no fan loves sports that much here in Portland. Like, I'm sorry, we are more general sports fan. We're not in the Pacific Northwest, especially just Portland and the Willamette Valley. We don't have enough diehard Portland Trailblazers fans to support an entire channel.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, The Mariners, who are running Root Sports, have done an absolute terrible job of doing that. The Blazers are stuck in a horrible deal. And hopefully in 2 years, they can just offer, you know, access just like via a monthly package, like some teams are starting to do. Did you see the Phoenix Suns? You guys are just putting all of their games on local TV for free. And I advocate because their owner says, hey, you know what? I think we're going to be able to make this money up in other ways. This product is going to sell itself. The Blazers aren't there yet, but as a professional franchise, I think that's a big way to get some eyes. Just bring them in for free. Get some eyes in. The money's going to come later.
Honestly, that's the way it used to be.
But
Fans used to be.
Hey, when I was down in Arizona a few weeks back, I mean that I watched 2 Phoenix Suns games, not the entire games, but
Yeah.
as I'm flipping around in the
There
hotel
you
and trying
go.
to find something to watch, I did watch Shrek for about 15 minutes.
It's,
I
I
mean,
mean, it's a
absolute
nice
classic.
like
right?
It's
holdover.
not
you know?
embarrassing at all.
No,
It's
no,
a great movie.
no, exactly. I saw that. I was like, I'll F with Shrek for 15 minutes. But then I flipped over to the Suns game because it was on just their local NBC whatever affiliate down there in Phoenix. It was again, it's like, wow, what a concept.
Well, and they also have a product you want to watch. And so it's only 30% of it is the whole access part. The Blazers put themselves in this position. They've essentially told fans, guess what? It's the preseason for the next 3 years. You're watching player development. And me, I'm still mad at the franchise for getting rid of, sorry, Rashad, their best player of all time. And I am a hard pressed, like it's gonna take a lot for me. I'm a hard pressed attitude now. Whenever I turn any basketball game on, I would much rather just watch Dame. I'd much rather watch national basketball than anything local at this point. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So they have 2 games left in February. They have the chance to go winless in February. Let's go. The last time they went winless in a month was 21-22 season in April, when that was one of their tanking years to finish out the year. That was the season before they went after and before they drafted Shaden Sharp. They went winless in April, which was 0-6. But then the last time they went winless in a month before that was 2012, 2013, Dame's rookie year. They went winless in April as well. They went 0-9.
So Scoot's on track for a great career then.
Well,
right? I mean, it's happened before with your franchise's best player, right? So
ugh. Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks, man. I've said before, it's me personally, I'm just sick and tired of seeing my teams just suck. And even if they are
you
good,
should
just
be
like
shouldn't be an Orioles fan.
hey,
I'm just saying, if you're tired of watching,
Adley hit a home run in his first spring training at bat, and then he threw down to second to rookie Jackson Holiday, throwing a guy out at second that was trying to steal an
Draw
Adley.
win?
What are you doing? I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I had to get to my Newburgh Grizzlies season finale, where we did
Okay.
win that.
There you go.
Finish the
Congrats.
season with a
Congrats.
dub. Coach Fisher leading the boys to victory, 5-2 season. Face adversity. We got more heart than that Blazers team does.
Hey man, you might need to coach.
I mean, listen, X's and O's are not my forte. I think it's just, getting in.
So you're more Mark Jackson than you are Steve Kerr.
No, I'd say I'm more like Dan Campbell. Like we're gonna bite some kneecaps. Okay, I know that's a
Okay.
football coach, but I don't know a basketball coach that in the NBA that has that mentality.
Certainly not Chauncey, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, trust me. I was dependent on my assistant coach a little bit more for the X's and O's aspects
Probably
of it.
Mike Brown.
Ooh, I like
Mike
that.
Brown.
Yeah,
He got tossed this week too, and he was angry
Yeah.
as he should have been.
Mike Brown's got a little FU attitude to him. Yeah, I tell the boys, I sell them on the fact that work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Work hard out there.
Tibbs.
Hustle. Yeah, I think so. Not playing my starters 40 minutes a game though. We're getting good rotations out there. We're getting kids breathers.
Tibbs gonna get all his money's worth out
Hey,
of those superstars. I love it.
I'll never forget how happy I was at my 7th grade basketball coach for getting kicked out of the game because he just kept counting every time the other team was down on offense how long their center stood in the paint. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's not calling it. They never called 3 in the key. Finally, they teed up our coach and kicked him out of the game. I still to this day remember that.
All right. Going to the rest of the NBA because there is actually some good NBA basketball being played. There's one team.
Where?
Well, we'll go to one city that Jordan Schultz just visited. There's a team in the NBA that has some 49ers vibes to me. And they got to me, I think they have to seal the deal this year, or else we have to start questioning some of the stars on the team and the coaching. We get to that next here, Sports Sunday. But first, Schultze with a Sports Center update.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, big news in college football as the UCLA Bruins set to hire former Washington Commanders offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy to the same position under new head coach Deshaun Foster. Elsewhere on the college hardwood last night, both the Oregon Ducks and Oregon State Beavers in action. Good news for the Beavers, they get the win over Stanford 85-73, though the Ducks, after leading at halftime over Cal, they take the loss to the Bears. Cal gets the win 69-64, the final. At home here, some local soccer action. The Portland Timbers opening their season with a win over the Colorado Rapids at home, 4-1, the final. And the 15-40 Portland Trailblazers back in action tonight. They host the Charlotte Hornets, going to try to snap a 7-game losing streak as a 2.5-point favorite. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. on Root Sports. And in baseball, one of the top free agents finally being taken off the board is the Chicago Cubs, re-signing Cody Bellinger to a 3-year, $80 million contract. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live on the Odyssey app or the Fan's desktop player.
You're invited to play in the first annual Fan Winter Golf Classic at X Golf Tualatin and X Golf Vancouver. Sign your threesome up at 1080thefan.com. Fan.
Me and Rashad dissecting 5th, 6th grade, 8th grade basketball in here, like some NBA champion winning coaches.
Yeah, I spent a lot of my day yesterday in a gym watching middle school basketball yesterday. So
Hey,
there's some great young players, but at the same time, like, yo, like You know what it is too, Joe? And I don't know about it, but I feel like these these students are great at like they're really well trained now, right? Now, like when they go to practice, it's pretty much
Not
like these
my boys.
training
I needed to
sessions.
run them more. They're
That's I
sucking
mean,
wind every game.
like I don't think kids have the instincts that you learn like from playing all the time, just playing basketball, not necessarily going to trainers, not going to shooting coaches and going to, dribbling gurus and all that stuff. I'm talking about going to gyms and going to hoop, going to parks and going to hoop, learning what it's like getting up off the ground when you're playing with guys that are a little bit older and stuff like that, knowing how to get your score, how to score against, maybe when we were in middle school, we were playing against dudes that were in high school. When I was in 8th grade, I went to the Tualatin Rec. I went with this guy named Mike Fesser. Shout out to my guy Mike Fesser. And went up there, and Jermaine O'Neal was there. Jermaine, I'm in 8th grade, so this is 96, 97. And Jermaine O'Neal is there. And when I say he's getting buckets, like he's getting buckets. But they needed one to run. So I'm out there just kind of playing with older people. Now, mind you, I have no business on the floor with Jermaine O'Neal or any of these people that
Oh,
are
come
playing from
on.
overseas. No, not in 8th grade, especially. Like I have no business being
You
out
were in
there.
NCAA football 06, all right? You were an
Whoa,
athlete.
whoa, whoa, whoa. We'll take it back a lot of years. Definitely not 06.
03?
Trial 1?
01?
Yeah, man. Trial 1.
Dear God, how old are
I'm
you?
pretty old, man. I'll be 41 in May, bro.
Oh,
So I'm
congratulations.
the oldest guy in the room ish.
Yeah, 35, 34,
Yeah,
Joe.
you
Yeah,
guys
you're
32.
You guys are
30.
babies,
Screw
bro.
you.
This guy,
You're too young.
Hell
over
yeah.
here, man. So, but no, I think it's one of those things like kids at this point, they don't play outside. They don't play in like open gyms and stuff like that. When I was growing up, it's all these little open gyms all around town that you can go to and like hone your craft.
Now they go to
right?
the rec.
Yeah, now they go to the rec. Now that's
my
the way to get better is I go to the rec on the game.
Did you guys play outside in your driveways until like dark midnight sometimes? Like I was like
Yeah.
I didn't grow up lucky enough to have a hoop in the driveway. However, up the street and down the block was a hoop in front of these people's house, and they always let me shoot and
Oh,
always
that's
let's play
awesome.
there. We would always play there. I was lucky enough to have parks like up the street and down the street from me, so I could always have somewhere to hoop. But no, like drive past your local park, even one of the bigger parks, and you won't see anybody playing when it's hot outside. And I honestly think that's why a lot of these kids are maybe a little softer than we're used to, and maybe a lot less.
Your 41 is showing right now.
No,
These
and
kids
a lot
are soft these days.
not so, but it's one of those things. Like I don't hoop unless I'm like working out, which is awesome. But again, I don't think those instincts are there because we were learning those moves and learning how to do them in games against people, and it's much different than learning how to do this stuff with, a trainer, which is a great thing to learn how to, be able to perfect your handle and all that stuff. But I think there's something to be said for in game, what are you going to do? Like, here we go right now, running at the park against somebody who might be a little better than you. Like, what are you going to do?
Actually challenging yourself.
Yeah, and I think that doesn't happen as much anymore. I know for a fact it doesn't, man.
One NBA team that is giving me 49ers vibes right now. Boston Celtics, man. They have won 8 in a row, and they just beat the Knicks last night, which to me, like right now, besides the Celtics, the Knicks are the only team in the Eastern Conference that have me feeling some type of way. Like, okay, there's some potential.
There's
right
something
now.
there in New York,
I mean,
right?
the Bucks are kind of a mess right now.
I think the Bucks are I think they're just playing possum right now.
76ers are without their MVP, probably for the rest of the season. The Cavaliers are the 2 seed, but until we actually see them prove it a little bit more, now they got Evan Mobley back a little bit ago, and he's full tilt, no minutes restriction after having an injury that he missed like 20-something games with. But then they just lost to the 76ers last night, I want to say, or the night before. And so right now it's kind of looking like it's the Boston Celtics conference to lose. They now have a 8-game lead over the next closest team, which is wild because the difference between the number 1 seed in the West and the number 8 seed in the West is 7 games.
Yeah.
So between the Timberwolves and the Suns, that's how close the West is. So right now the Celtics are running away with the Eastern Conference. And for a team that has been to the Eastern Conference Finals 5 years in a row now, I believe, 4 or 5 years, this has got to be the year, right?
I don't think there's been a better a better opportunity
And
for the Boston Celtics than this year.
And that's why I was saying, like, they're giving 49ers vibes. It's just like, you gonna pull it off eventually? You gonna bring this one home? Like Jason Tatum, I know that, he's one of the best players in the league, probably top 5 MVP, top 3 MVP this year. But he wants to get that NBA Finals trophy. He's been damn close ever since he came into the league. And now with Jaylen Brown being a key piece to the team, Kristaps playing as well as he has, you have Drew Holiday on the team, who is a championship point guard with his defense. This has got to be the year.
Man, listen, this Boston Celtics team,
The West is down.
top to bottom.
It's just
top to bottom. We forget Porzingis is playing, maybe not New York Knicks Porzingis basketball,
really
but he
well,
doesn't
though.
need to. He just needs to kind of play his part, block and change shots, be able to get a shot over smaller defenders. Jason Tatum is amazing. There's nothing offensively that he can't do. Pull up, hezzy pull, off the dribble, sidestep, step back. There's nothing that Jason Tatum can't do when he wants to score the ball. Jaylen Brown is having obviously an all-star season, but Jaylen Brown is just as consistent a player as a number 2 as you want. Like he averages right around the same amount of rebounds, the same amount of assists, the same amount of steals and everything as Jason Tatum. Obviously, Tatum averages a little bit more, but you look top to bottom at this team, and then, like you said, you throw in a Drew Holiday, who is defensively, and there's a reason. Look, there's 8 games ahead of every other team, in the Eastern Conference. There's a reason. There's a reason when the Bucks were winning, like they were really winning, is because you have a point guard that can shut down another great point guard. You look across the NBA right now, and it's flooded with crazy good point guards everywhere. Brunson, when Ja is healthy, LaMelo, Trae Young, all across the board. You need.
I like how LaMelo is like the third name you throw out. I mean,
LaMelo's cold, bro.
He's good, but
yeah.
also just their team.
Their team is
just
terrible, but I'm saying, as a point guard,
He
you
gets
still
all those shots.
as a point guard, you still got to guard LaMelo. Like and he's gonna give you buckets.
Yeah,
like,
and he's 6'8".
Melo's not the
right.
reason that Charlotte is bad right now. Like, I mean, he's the only bright spot. They're the Blazers of the Eastern Conference because like you've got this great star that nobody is really watching play.
Y'all remember Al Horford is on the Boston Celtics again,
is.
right?
Al Horford,
I mean, there's
grandfather
just-
Horford.
Old man Al.
Well, there's so many pieces on top of the Porzingis and Drew Holiday additions that I think put the Celtics over the top. And I was just in Boston talking to 2 Celtics fans at that wedding, and they
Jordan, I swear this is our year.
yeah, that's pretty much all right. That took the words right out of my mouth. I don't
That's
really have
really
to say
good.
anything else. They really you absolutely make the point that they do, that they think along with Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, along with that veteran presence of Horford, there's just everything kind of is fitting together this year. So they've got no weaknesses as opposed to, last year when Derek White sat down, if Peyton Pritchard wasn't hitting threes, they really had nobody to run the offense because Tatum had to play off the ball to get a lot more of those shots in the fourth quarter. So you really need somebody to deliver to those guys with Brown and Tatum off the ball. Now you have that.
And I feel what you're saying, Joe, as far as like a 49ers vibe, because in the sense that you should win, right?
Like
I mean, you look at the rest of the East and where they are right now.
when you
really
look at
the rest
the
of the league.
West too.
You look at the rest of the league outside. Like we know this is a great story for Minnesota being first in the West and everything like that. That's an awesome story. Denver is going to be the team that represents the Western Conference in the finals.
Don't count out the Clippers.
It's Denver or the Clippers. Those will be one of the 2 teams that make it out of the West. So this is an awesome story for Minnesota. So we don't really believe them even still as a number 1 seed, even though everybody loves Anthony Edwards. There's not a single person that said, man, we don't like Anthony Edwards. He's dope. But this Boston team, if they don't win, like this was their year, because I still believe Milwaukee might be playing possum, but still has some things to work out. And Doc Rivers is their head coach.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is great. Just don't look up anything that he talks about on his phone with ladies or how he feels about the LGBTQ community. Basically, just focus on his basketball skills if you could. Minnesota, though, it's like, yeah, prove it. Oklahoma City, this is the first time you're kind of top dogs, so want you to prove it there. There's a team in the West I kind of want to see make a run. It's New Orleans, but it's mostly just because of this beef that they have with Stephen A. Smith right now. Have you seen any of this?
I don't try to not see anything Stephen A. Smith is a part of.
Hey, I don't blame you. It's probably best for your mental health to not consume any of his content. But they were talking about New Orleans on his show recently, and he basically said, that team goes as far as Zion not eating cheeseburgers is what he, the same old trope. And because they've been playing some great basketball in Zion, especially lately. And now whoever's running the New Orleans Pelicans Twitter account, they are not holding back.
Oh, I did see one tweet, initially from them.
They
I was like,
posted
okay,
like his college stats.
yeah, his college
Stephen
stats, a whole
A's,
little thing, like like
from where, and I can't remember what school he went to, like Winston Salem or something like that.
Winston Salem or Winston State.
And then Stephen A responded with the classic response for any former athletes: I would have played more if it wasn't for my knee.
You would have played more if he wasn't trash. That's
Yeah.
the
Thanks,
that's
Uncle
the big
Rico.
thing.
Yeah, basically. And I retweeted it. I was like, man, imagine a world where nobody's career in a high school or college got cut short if it wasn't for a knee injury. I'm like, oh wait, that's the world we're living in.
everybody
It's just
would be
because
pro.
you sucked just like the rest of us. That's all it was. So, and New Orleans just kept going back at him. Like they put together a 30-second compilation
Of
video
all of his sports feats.
yeah, of
I
him like
guess.
airballing a shot, him and
Throwing doing the first pitch, doing
him
boxing.
yeah,
like,
boxing, him slipping at the All-Star break and damn near breaking his ankle trying to go for a loose ball. Like that's also probably why you shouldn't be playing basketball in dress shoes, like trying to do anything in physical activity in dress shoes.
Stephen A is one of those guys who truly believes he is as big a star as the athletes are.
You don't want this. You don't want to come after me.
Please.
You don't want any of this.
Nobody.
Trust me.
Only because nobody wants to lose their job because they decided to go at Stephen A. Smith.
The last thing you want to do is come after me. It's like,
Yeah,
nah,
see?
I think I'm fine.
Those
But
little thinly veiled threats. That's what he does, man.
gosh, speaking of threats, do you see just real quickly Kevin Durant and the fan in Dallas?
I want to know what they said. I couldn't really hear what they said to him
Yeah,
before.
yeah. What was that backwoods couple from White Farm America saying?
Well,
God.
just as the Suns were running out onto the court, the woman she called him a bitch as he was running out. And so it was one of those like dog whistle. Like as soon as he heard that, he
telling you,
turned,
man,
went right over to them, and then she tries to dap it up with him, and it was not
for any
going.
man, like I'm telling you, that's a fighting word. That's
Just-
a fight word.
Well,
we
not
did,
even in
we
the
did
heat of the
say this
game.
last week. Yeah, that's one of those like, excuse me.
That's a fighting word.
what'd you
Yes,
say?
man. Like,
These fans just unprompted before the game too. You're not even like reacting to a made shot or anything. That's stupid.
And also, if any of you, I know we have a show here on the radio and / podcast, but man, it was definitely one of those like, all right, there's another reason never to start a podcast. But as that couple is trying to get out of that situation with Kevin Durant, the guy, he's like trying to explain himself, and at the very end, he goes, I host a podcast about sports, and Kevin Durant basically, like, as soon as he said that, he's like, I'm out of here. And just walks away from it. It was basically like, okay.
but didn't get kicked out. KD could have been like, hey, man, get them out of the game. Let them stay, enjoy the game. Like, that's a real one for that, because I think a lot of people would have just politely escorted them out of the game.
And he hit him with the you're adults, you're grown-ups. Like, what are we doing?
There we go.
All right. So I wanted to talk about this because it was something I watched on TV, and I have to throw it back in our city's face. And Jordan, you said something a little bit ago too that I need to respond to this because I just do not believe it. I do not believe it at all. Get to that next here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Rob. Tired of your chili house?
Sunday. So what was on my TV last night, you may ask?
Porn.
Well,
Porn, Dan.
It,
Porn.
It was sports porn.
Oh, okay.
It was Portland porn. It
Well, that
was
sounds weird.
well, it was the Timbers, baby.
Oh, okay.
It was the Timbers winning 4-1 in their home opener. And they scored 4 goals in the first half. And man, I'm telling you, as far as this city being bummed on the Blazers and not having something fun to watch or go to right now, the Timbers, I don't know if you've been to a game before, Rashad.
I have.
Jordan, I don't know if you've been to a couple
Yeah,
games,
I
I
used
assume.
to cover them. Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to do pregame shows for them. It's huge.
Man, there is that environment. When that ball goes in the goal, there is nothing like it. And 8th grade Joe would not believe he's saying that I'm saying this right now. Because I did. I hated soccer growing up. I thought it was boring. I thought it was, one, just from a pure TV standpoint, not getting commercials for 45 minutes to 50 minutes. That's one of the best parts about soccer is the match starts and you don't see a commercial for damn near an hour, it feels like. But the Timbers, the way that they started the season last night, that was electric. Like that place was going off. I had a couple buddies there that went to the game last night. And as soon as they scored that first goal, I was like, damn, I wish I was there right now. And then they scored a second goal and then a third goal. And that place was absolutely lit up. And this is where I fight back on the whole, this isn't a sports town. Is that, was this a soccer town before we got the Timbers? Were people
Kinda.
clamoring saying that we need to get an MLS team? This is a soccer city, and this is so like when I look at everybody bitching and moaning about us possibly trying to get an MLB team, which after the Jeff Passan article earlier this week is looking less likely now with the amount of investment that's happening in Salt Lake City, is that this is where I say it's like, again, that loser mentality of like, no, we don't need an MLB team. We're not a sports city. We're not a baseball city. It's like, were we a soccer city? Like, was that the mentality we had before we got the Timbers? Is that, oh yeah, this city would definitely fall. It's like, I think if you build it, they will come. And as far as baseball goes, it's kind of hipster like soccer, right? Like there is a following in this city of baseball fans that I think would gravitate to going to baseball games. It's in the summer. It's baseball games. Going to a baseball game is one of my favorite like sports activities because it's not so high pressure. It's, go up to a Mariners game once once a year, maybe once every other year, and you're just chilling. You're enjoying the nice weather. You're enjoying the nice day. You're getting a hot dog, few beers. You're walking around outside the stadium, enjoying yourself. Like there's something about the vibes of a baseball game that again, especially being that it's in summer, you're not freezing ass cold walking to the stadium and then try and get back to your car. Like traffic, whatever. You're going to have traffic. Is it easy getting in and out of the Moda Center for a Blazers game?
No, it's not.
Probably right now because, there's nobody really
Even
going,
still,
but
they suck, and it still, takes a minute to get out of the garage or, get out of wherever you may have
go
That's
to-
because
parked or-
drivers here suck,
Yeah.
but that's another segment.
well, and go to a Timbers game too. It's not a walk in the park, getting there and getting out of there. You look at the max leaving the game. Oh my God, it is sardines packed in a can and into that thing. It's like, so I see last night and I see how we can create a following and a fan base of an MLS team. Like, keep in mind, the MLS, want to compare it to all the other leagues in the world, it is the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th best league in the world as far as soccer talent goes. So to me is that when I see that and see our city following a team like that and how it's just grown over the years, and even last year, it's like the Timbers weren't very good. They fired their head coach. This is their first year with their new head coach, Phil Neville, which having a British head coach is just so satisfying to listen to. Just hearing that accent on the pregame. I was listening to it last
Does it
night.
make you
It's
more
just-
confident as a Timbers fan?
Oh, yeah. You have a
Okay.
British guy running the team. It's like, this guy knows footy. This guy can get the lads ready. I don't know. I see that. I'm just like, I don't like the excuse of we're not a sports city. We don't need an MLB team. We wouldn't follow it as well. I think it's BS at this point because and this is what I was saying during the commercial segment. I would like to try and find articles leading up to when the Timbers were going to be announced as a team, or that, we were trying to get an MLS team. Like, what was the granted, the vibes of the city 15 years ago was a little bit different. 15, 20 years ago, is that Portland was a little different back in 2007, 2008, 09, before the Timbers came around. I get that. But again, I feel like the city just needs a win, and needs the world and needs the country to see that we do have a solid city here. We've got things going on. And so why not give a team in the MLB to one of the top 25 media markets in the country, top 22, 23, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm really sick of the whole idea of that. No, we don't deserve it.
I don't know if it's necessarily we don't deserve it as much as it is like the Timbers. Like, okay, I played football in high school at PGE Park, or what we now know as Providence Park, right? That was our home football stadium, and on a homecoming night, it was about as packed as you would get at a Timbers game.
It's where my senior year of football ended, was at PGE Park.
Playoffs.
Jefferson.
Yeah, oh,
damn
sorry
it.
about that.
Dude.
Yeah, go Demos. I don't know.
No.
I mean, yeah. So okay,
we beat them earlier in the season 40-6, and then we lost to them in the semifinals.
payback. Got that get back. But
guess who gave up that 6 on defense?
there
This
you go.
guy.
There you go. Joe Fish for the win.
No,
not at all.
I gave up the shutout. My coach was not too happy about that.
Man, so I mean, I think when you can pack out Geldwin or Providence Park or whatever we're calling it at this point, mind you, it's the same place that the Beavers played for a long time,
Bro.
The
And we
Portland-
went to Beavers games all the time.
all the time.
as a
But
kid.
again, it's not a very big space to sell out, right? So on those Thirsty Thursdays on Beaver games, I used to work at PG Park at that point, or Geldwin, or again, whatever we're calling it. And it's a much smaller space to kind of pack out. And so yeah, for like you said, the sixth best league, almost like minor league soccer, it's not shocking that Portland kind of latched on to this team. Baseball, I think we keep saying we want it because it's going to be something for us to have. We've never had anything other. I know we have to break, but do you think that they can consistently sell out a baseball stadium for 80 games?
Well, no team does.
No,
I
but
mean,
I'm saying, or even get close to it. And I
besides
think
like
that's the
what
thing.
the Cubs and then the Red Sox. I mean, like what?
Yeah.
And
Or even-
maybe
even
the
get close to it.
Yankees. Like what other team? I mean, that's the thing, is that it's 81 games throughout the season, and then how many of those are played on a Wednesday in the middle of the day when most people can't get to it anyways? Most of these games are going to start at probably around 7 o'clock anyways. So when you talk about the whole traffic thing, it's like, all right, I guess that is during traffic. It's,
And
it's
mind you, you're
after
talking
that
about
rush hour.
You're
I
talking
feel
about
like.
Portland, so it's still, you're talking baseball season starts in what, April? May. When's
I mean, I
baseball
think the better question
End
is,
of March,
can
April.
you draw 2 million fans during an MLB season? I think that's a success for you as a Portland team in your first few seasons, because usually the tops are like 3, close to 3.5. You're talking Dodgers, as you guys say, the Cubs that sell them out all the time. Everybody's going to be at every single Dodgers game this year. They're probably going to get way over 3.5 million. But Portland, you're not going to sell every game out. But compared to like the fandom for a soccer team or even like a hockey team, look at MLS numbers, guys, viewing wise on TV. They get nearly what a hockey game does during the regular season. And this whole Timbers movement was a very small. I love how you bring up the whole hippie side of things. I feel like it is kind of the hippie sports fandom here in Portland. So it doesn't surprise me that
the hippie plaid and everything like
well,
that.
yeah,
Like,
it
that's
doesn't
what-
surprise
yeah.
me that they're very strongly supportive of the Portland Timbers themselves. But guys, do those same fans that support that team, do they go out and pay a bunch of money for other sports apparel? No, they never do. Timbers fans don't really draw anything else or really are interested in anything else. So that's just, it's kind of a one-off, and I'm not sure that is representative of what the success could be for another team in Portland. As you've said, Joe, we just don't care that much.
It just kills me, especially, I mean, and you want to talk about history. It's like the whole history with baseball in Portland going back to the Portland Mavericks days. I mean, there's a whole damn Netflix documentary on that. Like,
Battered bastards of baseball.
do we just have to go Big Brother and have everybody sit in a room and watch that in the Portland city limits? Like, you're going to watch this and you're going to understand that there is actually some passion for baseball in this city. I don't know. It's just again, it kills me every time. And then again, seeing the Jeff Passan article, I think it was either on Monday or Tuesday, talking about expansion in the MLB and him quite literally saying that Salt Lake City has leapfrogged Portland as the team on the West Coast. Like
Been to
it's
Salt Lake?
just like, all right, well, here we go.
Have you been to Salt Lake?
No, we've
It's a
talked
dope-
about this. What
It's a
city is
dope-ass
cooler?
city. Salt Lake, unfortunately.
I don't know. I don't know if it is cooler.
It is. You got to go. And mind you, I'm talking about Utah. I'm talking about Utah.
I know.
You've got to go.
That's bold statement.
Liquor
Yeah.
laws suck in Utah, though.
Yeah, but as a city, man, we decriminalized heroin and everything else here. Yeah, as a city, it's cooler. Just saying.
I don't know. I mean, being able to do drugs openly out in the open, that sounds pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Aren't we trying to take that back, though, already? I digress.
Yeah, we're turning it into political Sunday here on 1080. All right, hour number 2 coming up. We got a couple hot seats in the state of Oregon. Court storming is not okay, especially if it happens to Duke, right?
Duke should. I mean, yes. No, you don't want those poor young men to get hurt.
We get to those, and then we got some excitement on the horizon, and I really don't know how to get myself ready for this next endeavor that's about to happen in all of our lives. We get to hour number 2 here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Suk here for Crunch Fitness, where you'll find top-of-the-line equipment
Number 2, Sports Sunday.
What a great movie to clip a bunch of lines from.
Hey, if you have Bob Costas saying "Feel these nipples," I feel like you have to include that in a show open at some point.
I'm surprised nobody else did ever.
Maybe that's what Portland needs is a basketball team. We need to get basketball back up and
Year-round?
going.
Yeah,
And
year-round
just
team,
get
no
it
off season,
kinda
no
like-
trades.
Kind of like what the professional lacrosse league was doing. Just have it all based in one city and have all the teams play in one city. And then from there, you grow the league, grow it more and more. And then you start expanding out into different franchises in different cities. And then basketball becomes a mainstream sport.
Yeah, other than the fact that
I feel like we've
basketball
jumped-
sucks.
Well, we've jumped the shark on just society and, like social media and what's acceptable. And so I say, F it, full bore. Let's go.
Well, I mean, hey. I mean, I'd play. It's not doesn't look like the coolest sport, but I'd definitely play. Having to do a psych out,
See, come on. Playing basketball would be fun.
playing baseball would be fun. Having to do psych outs and get people like that would be.
I
a
hear your
part
mom's
of
going out with Squeak.
the psych. What?
Wow.
Yeah. What a great movie. I might have to watch that.
Watch it with your son.
He definitely won't get it. Definitely won't
Yeah,
get it.
there will be a lot of references like that he will not understand. Who's that guy sitting in that glass case? That's Kareem.
It's Kareem.
Never mind.
Why
Who's the
did-
guy driving that race car?
Yeah, I don't know. Who was the guy driving the race car? Was that Dale?
Dale
No,
Earnhardt.
that's what I okay.
Come on.
It's been a long time since I've seen the
Rest
movie,
in
man.
peace, Dale.
That movie came out when I was a freshman in high school.
Yasmin Bleeth.
Yeah, when Yasmin Bleeth was still
Whoa.
super hot.
When
Like,
she was like one of the Hollywood hotties, yeah.
Jenny McCarthy, like, I mean, this is like,
Well, she's still hot.
I mean, but again, like, this is
I
when
think
Jenny McCarthy
my-
was like,
I think my lobby could
McCarthy.
use a buffing, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I've got to check that movie out, man.
I
been
love
a
that
while.
the different promotional nights that they have at the stadium too. Like, oh, what an unfortunate thing to
Mhm.
happen during dozen egg night.
That's right. Yeah, wasn't there one where they
Just
like,
half a dozen eggs that they're just
they're
throwing,
just throwing
at
at
it.
the players? Yeah, throwing at Squeak.
Ah, and thanks for coming out to free range chicken night.
What great writers Trey Parker and Matt Stone end up becoming, because they even had I can't remember the musical that they had on Broadway for a little bit, and then they
Oh,
had
the Book of Mormon.
the Book of Mormon, exactly. You
Well,
know, so,
the other writer for basketball was God, and the name's escaping me, but he wrote the Naked Gun movies too.
oh really?
Yeah, God, is it Zimmer? Something like that, Dave Zimmer or something like that.
Gosh, it's not ringing a bell.
I gotta look it up.
You know,
But
and between obviously South Park still on like season 50 or whatever they're on, like, so yeah, those guys end up being really really fun creative writers for the most part.
the Oakland Raiders moved to Los Angeles and back to Oakland. Nobody in Los Angeles seemed to notice.
No, I'm sure only Raider fans were like, why are they moving back to? But other than that, I'm sure everybody else was like, the Raiders were here.
Speaking of a team that nobody really seems to notice right now is two teams, Oregon Ducks basketball and Oregon State basketball. Boy, things have gotten weird since that 2021 season. I feel that Oregon State basketball, it was cute. Nice little run you had there to the Elite Eight that season. Since then, in the last 3 years, they've won 9 total conference games. Oregon State men's basketball,
Sounds about
Ouch.
right.
and Oregon is likely. You know what? I'm putting it out there. I know there's still some games left. There's a conference tournament left to go. Oregon ain't making the tournament. The Oregon Ducks are not going to make the tournament this year. They blew a lead against Cal last night. They had a lead, and Cal, I believe, is 13-15 on the season, and they lost that game. And it's been a weird last last stretch of basketball for them. I feel like I didn't take a look this morning, but they've won 4 out of their last 9, maybe 5 of their last 10, something around there. And Dana Altman, this would be his 3rd straight season of a team missing out on the NCAA tournament for the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot for Dana Altman hasn't gone right, especially this year. Your big, kind of your biggest recruit in Mookie Cook, you know, the guy that played LeBron in the whole Shooting Stars movie, Portland's own Mookie Cook, actually. He's only played 5 games for you on the entire season and only gave you like right around 6 or 7 points. So not the production obviously you thought you'd have from him. Uh, Jackson Shellstad has been good, but not great, but still averaging about a little over 12 points. I'm gonna give you 13 a game. Like you've had some good things happen for you, but at the same time, just not enough of those good things. And now you're on the verge of not on the verge. Like I said, you won't make the tournament unless you win the Pac-12 tournament, right? But I don't really see that happening either. But who knows, man? Crazier things have happened. Teams seem to turn it on, once they get to conference championship time. And so,
Well, that's always kind of been the Ducks' thing is that around this time of year they start playing their best basketball. They've lost. They're 5-6 in their last 11 games,
just mediocre.
with wins over Stanford, Oregon State, Washington, USC, and Arizona State.
Well,
USC
they beat Bronny.
Well, USC sucks this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not any good. Oregon State, not very good. Stanford, not very good. I mean, the teams that they're losing to, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, UCLA, and just that Cal game, like that is such a deflating loss for this team that you wonder, like, who's gonna lose their job first? Is it gonna be Wayne Tinkle or is it gonna be Dana Altman?
Better be Wayne Tinkle.
I don't know, that fan base and that team, like it's almost as if like let's just brace ourselves for a few crappy years and then we'll get a tournament appearance.
Well, see, and that's personally, and I'm not trying to insult the Beavers fan base here. I'm actually more insulting the way that the Beavers are running one of their sports programs, and this is basketball, because as a team that is trying to fight for national prominence, right? Great way to do that. Your success recent years, football with Jonathan Smith, that brought you to some heights that you hadn't had since like the early 2000s with Dennis Erickson, right? And actually sustainable going forward. And what is a great way to help that? What is a great way to pad that? Oh, maybe get some of these other successful programs some more prominence as well. People always think of baseball. Well, Beavers baseball successfully. You think of college basketball. Well, why aren't the Beavers there at all? And especially in the world with NIL, especially in the world with, free agency and college basketball and all college sports now, you think that in the last 5 to 7 years, you wouldn't just be on cruise control with Wayne Tinkle. There were opportunities to put a little bit more money into that, a little bit more effort into that. I do not believe Wayne Tinkle's the best that program could have put forward. And yeah, an Elite Eight run once in the last 30 years is nice, but we got to do better than that, Oregon State. And you've got to run your programs better than that. Your success as a national prominent program hinges on how good these teams play.
And quite frankly, I don't know if it's. I think out of those two coaches, Oregon State would get rid of Tinkle. I think Dana would just leave. Quite frankly,
you're probably right.
It kind of seems
Dana would have another opportunity, and
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. Like Wayne Tinkle is he going to get another job? Yes, but is he going to be bigger than Oregon State?
It's going to be like an Abilene Christian
and
University.
That's what I'm saying. But you're talking about on the other side. Yes, there's a good jet. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched college basketball at all this year. At all. Not a single play of college basketball because it's
buddy,
just not entertaining.
You missed a great Pac-12 game the other night between the Cougs and Arizona.
No, I didn't. I wouldn't say I missed it, but
the Cougs are, dude. Washington State is legit this year. You're missing out on some good Cougs basketball.
Again, wouldn't say I'm missing out on anything. College basketball isn't fun until right around the middle of March. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I can follow this product. But for the most part, like you said, Dana Altman would probably just leave because he'd have an opportunity to have maybe a bigger head coaching job, in college basketball than the Oregon does.
See, again, Dana just gives me the vibes that he is. Yeah, I mean, I could see him going to a program that seemingly the fan base gives a little bit more of an F than what the Oregon Ducks men's basketball fan base does. Like, it's just, I mean, heard his comments last year about like showing up at the stadium, right? And unless it's like Arizona, when are they really showing up at the stadium? I mean, Eugene, love it, but that team gets up for football, and that's about it.
They're not a college, okay, you go to Cameron Indoor, a college basketball environment.
Well, yeah,
Oregon, University of Oregon is not a college basketball. You know what it was? When it was in the pit. That was way better. That was a college basketball environment. Matt Knight is just unfortunately, it's a really cool looking court, but it just doesn't scream college basketball.
I
For college basketball, it's cool, but
Ah.
it just doesn't scream. But for me, it's
That court is
comparable to the Smurf.
atrocious.
It's comparable to the Smurf turf.
That court is atrocious. They should probably have gotten rid of that immediately after they showed the designs. But
I mean, I think it's okay. I don't think it's that bad. Either way, it's just not a college basketball environment. It looks like an NBA like play-in tournament court almost.
looking at the year by year, I mean, so since Wayne Tinkle has got there, I mean, he's gotten them in the tournament twice. Whereas before he even got there, the last tournament appearance that the Beavers had was in 1990. So that,
Oof.
yeah, and see, and that's where I'm thinking, like, is that where the fan base in the school
Is
is
that
like,
Gary Payton?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, is that where the fan base is kind of looks at it? And it's like, well, I mean, he's gotten us at least twice. Like, do we just take these years that run in between the appearances? Like, when they got him in 2015, 2016, they went to the tournament. The following year, they went 5-27, 16-16, 18-13, 18-13, 20-13, which was then when they went on their Elite Eight run that 2021 year. The very next season, they went 3-28. Now they're at 11-21, 12-16 this year. So it's like, do they just kind of ride these waves and then they hope for that one good team that gives them momentum that takes them to the tournament, and then that's just kind of where they are, is having a coach that knows the program and can build up a team internally with guys that stay there a while, and just hope, like, fingers crossed, this is the team that puts it all together for 1 year so that way we can go to the tournament and have a good time. Whereas the Ducks, I mean, you're going on year 3 of not making the tournament. I mean, you before the COVID year and the year after it. I mean, if you want to take that year out of it, the Ducks made the tournament 7 of 8 seasons. And now you're looking at 3 years in a row.
Bring back Ernie.
Don't do that.
Bring back Ernie.
Please don't do that. We're up against it, but again, I think that this is a weird time for both of those
They
teams
were winning with Ernie.
as far as what you do with either of those coaches. Apparently, storming the court is no longer okay because it happened to Duke. We get to that next here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Aloha, Portland sports fans.
And Kyle Filipowski for Duke, one of their star players, he was leaving the court, and as the fans are rushing the court, uh, one of the fans collides into him, and he then has to get helped off the court by his teammates. Looks like he got injured, hurt his leg. And so now, because it happened to Duke, we now have to have this whole debate about fans storming the court. And Rashad and I disagree. Is that, bro, this has been happening the last like 30 years, 40 years. Like, how long have fans been storming the court? Like, so now why all of a sudden, like over these last couple of years, are we getting more and more pissed about
Not
it?
even just Duke, a Duke star, right?
Yeah, you're
Because
not
if this
talking
were a walk-on for
it'd
Duke,
be
I'm not sure
different,
we'd
but
care.
Kyle Filipowski is their leading scorer of the like 8th ranked team in the country. Like, so yes, it's a problem. And the 8th ranked team just happens to be the Duke Blue Devils. Yes, there's gonna be people. The person you mentioned, the Caitlin Clark stuff. It's Caitlin Clark. Like they didn't
And she
rush it for-
flopped.
yeah, either it doesn't matter. Like I
did.
don't see the point. I don't see how we're not keeping these kids safe on both sides of the board. Because here, on the one hand, you have the athletes. So Jordan, you just lost the game, a close game to an unranked team, probably going to mess with maybe your draft stock potentially, depending on what player and what team you play for. It's going to affect your seeding, especially as you get closer to the tournament. All this stuff, and you just lost the game. Who here likes losing? Raise your hand. Oh, neither of you? Oh,
Hey,
okay.
it's a great way to learn.
Who here takes losing well? Raise your hand. Oh,
Hey,
you either?
It's a great
Okay.
learning opportunity.
Oh,
Okay, when you take a loss.
Okay. So yeah, so now
you
Jordan,
grow after
Jordan, you
losses.
just lost the game. A close game. You played your heart out, didn't win. And then you've got some college kid, may or may not be drunk, and the rest of their student body storming the court before I even get a chance to leave. So now I got to sift through all these kids to get through. I got people yelling in my face how much I suck, how overrated I am, F you, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? That's what you're going through as you're trying to get back to the locker room. Somebody's going to get hurt. Some player, one of these teams, especially some of those good old boys down south, will say something to one of those black or brown players, and something could potentially happen. So as a player, like Filipowski, now you're getting your teammates to carry you off the floor.
Has that happened?
You may potentially, I don't know, probably.
Well, I mean, has it?
I'm almost for certain somebody's been
Are you
punched. Yes.
speculating, or is there been a report?
Wasn't there a player that punched somebody for storming the field or storming the court?
I don't know.
I'm sure there has.
I mean,
I guarantee there has.
you're
like
you're
beyond the
saying it,
malice
so-
at the palace when
Yeah,
there were fists being
yeah,
thrown.
But I'm
yeah.
saying that's different. That started because of fighting. Like here's something that I'm disappointed. I just lost the game. So here comes all these fans from the home school that are just rushing the field as I'm trying to get off of it, as I'm disappointed, mostly in my face, telling me how, like I said, how much I suck, how much I whatever. Like
For sure.
somebody would it shock you if one of these players stole off on a fan?
Of course not. So, but what are we saying, that we need to just stop
Yes, I
kids
think-
rushing the court
yes,
here?
because not everybody
Oh,
has
man,
the
let's-
best intentions.
Let's just take
Let's
all the
just
fun
be
out
real.
of sports.
Not everybody has the best
All
intentions.
right, let's
like, you
have
don't need to have
50 security guards link arms and try to
No, no,
stop
no, no.
You don't need
thousands
to
of
have the-
people
you don't
rushing
need
the
to have
court.
the game is still exciting. Like you don't need to have a thousand people rush a floor as you still got 11 dudes trying to get off of it or whatever. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
I've got a better idea. How about, oh look, we've got video. Let's review who the hell actually did this. We're gonna charge them because that's assault. Like whoever did this to Kyle Filipowski, that is assault. That is an absolute.
But why
charge.
have to go through that?
Be-
Like, that's my
No, no,
thing.
no, no.
Like why even have to go through that?
Because it's sports, because kids are going to rush the field, because people do stupid things. And here is how we try to put some barriers around us, around society. We're humans. We need rules. So we charge those kids to the fullest. We point out, hey, jerk faces, here's what's happened. Here's what's happening to you. You not only, if this kid is a scholarship or he's a kid paying for school to go there, guess what? No, you're suspended and you're facing charges. There are ways to find or to ensure that this never happens
So why
again.
don't they allow this to happen in the NBA and NFL? I'll tell you why. It's because they're protecting their players. They're making sure that their players are safe. They're making sure their fans are safe.
It's a
There's
different
reason,
game, bro.
There's a reason that after somebody beats the great Golden State Warriors, people don't storm the floor. It's because the NBA and NFL won't allow it. Why can't college football do the same thing? Why can't college basketball do the same thing? Why can't they think about these players as far as keeping them safe? Because again, you're talking about a safety measure. That's how I'm thinking. I'm looking at it as a parent of somebody who's, in college right now, and then somebody's going to go eventually. Yes, man. Like I'm looking at it as a safety measure for not just the athlete, but for the student. Like I think it's something to be considered, man. I think there are other ways to celebrate outside of storming the floor at that point.
Well, just looking it up on Twitter, and the video evidence is it's not good for Kyle Filipowski as the court is getting stormed. There's kind of like an overhead shot, and as a fan's running by him, he straight up like puts his leg out to trip the fan and shoves the fan over as well. So it looks like he kind of,
Either way, the fan,
but it
like,
looks
a
okay.
fan is getting something like that that they shouldn't have got, and that's the
Well,
point.
he's
like,
running right by him and he says something to it. Like Kyle Filipowski, like literally holds his leg out and pushes the kid over so that he trips over his leg,
you're
and
making
he
my
gets
point.
hurt.
And you're making
So
my point.
whose fault is that
Again,
exactly?
you're making my point. That wouldn't have happened if they wouldn't have stormed the floor. None of that
Or
would have happened.
if Kyle
period.
Filipowski doesn't hold out his leg and try to push.
I just said both ways. I said a player is going to get hurt or a student is going to get hurt. Either way, somebody got hurt or somebody even initiated contact when that didn't have to be the case. That doesn't have to be the case. I think it's dumb.
Well,
I think it's dumb, and that's how somebody's going to get eventually hurt. And it's going to be way sad. Then we're going to be talking about, man, why do they even allow people to storm the floor? That's why they shouldn't do it.
Well, again, if you look at, you can look at it during the break here.
I'm not saying that, again, like I said, both sides can be hurt. A player who's frustrated that he just lost, like Filipowski was, yes, that can be the outcome, especially if somebody stormed the floor that had nothing to do with this game. Yes. So I'm just saying, like, both students and athletes can get hurt in this situation.
I was also saying, like, again, this has been happening for 30, 40 years. Like, if
that doesn't make it right, though.
Hold on. Is that if you're Duke, you know what's about to happen. You're about to lose to an unranked Wake Forest team. I understand, like you're playing and you have the right to be on that court, but you should know what's about to happen. John Shire knew because he ran right over to Kyle Filipowski and was running onto the court. Be ready to get off the court. You know what's about to happen. You know that these kids are about to rush onto the floor and fans are about to flood onto it. Like, I'm getting my ass off of the court immediately, running to the locker room as quick as possible. And yeah, there probably needs to be a little bit better security measures, but you really think that 50 security guards locking arms, going Red Rover, don't come over, are going to be able to stop this?
Has it stopped any? Again, there's a reason they don't do it in the NFL and in the professional ranks, is because they know better. They're keeping people safe. And I get it's all celebration and everything, but none of those reasons are good enough reasons to think about these kids and on both sides being hurt. That's just what it is. Like, and that's what they've always done. So, always done a lot of stupid stuff. Well, what does that mean? Like, this is what sports is. Again, so there's a lot of stupid stuff in sports that doesn't matter. You still can't do bat flips in baseball. Oh my God, what a terrible player. Get out of here.
I mean, you could extend this debate even into like how the game ends in college basketball. I hate that when you have a timeout, you don't get to actually advance the ball to half court. They're sitting there hoping that they can try to catch a half court pass and then get a 3-pointer and a foul. If you just set it up right there, maybe you have a little bit more chance just at the half court line, pass it in, get the hell out of the way and run off the court. Like, I don't know. It just, there's so many different things that led to this, but you can't stop all the fun in sports.
I just think that because this is how it's always been is not a good enough answer. That's not a good enough reason to keep doing it. I'm just saying.
Let's go to a highlight in college sports. We're getting a video game back, folks.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We get that.
Yes, we
next. Well, not next. I mean, in like a few months.
Tomorrow?
I was going to say, what news?
You guys calling in sick? Because I am.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's what we need to talk about next is how we're going to prepare for this. We do that here next. Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan. But first, Schulte with Sports Center Update.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, big news in college football as the UCLA Bruins are set to hire former Washington Commanders offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy to the same position under new head coach Deshaun Foster. On the college hardwood, the Oregon Ducks losing to Cal after leading at halftime 69-64 the final. Better news for Oregon State, though, as the Beavers end up handling Stanford 85-73 the final. Back here at home, the Portland Timbers opening their season with a win on the pitch over the Colorado Rapids at home, 4-1 the final. And on the NBA hardwood, the 15-40 Portland Trailblazers back in action tonight, They host the Charlotte Hornets. They're going to try and snap a 7-game losing streak, although looks like just about half of their roster is listed as out tonight, including Scoot Henderson and Malcolm Brogdon. The Blazers are still a 2.5-point favorite. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. on Root Sports. And in baseball, one of the top free agents finally been taken off the board as the Chicago Cubs re-signing Cody Bellinger to a 3-year, $80 million contract. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
One number does it all for contests and texting your favorite fan shows. The Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6FAN.
Victoricos features fresh, authentic Mexican food made from scratch. Hey, it's Dusty, and that's just one reason why Victoricos is my family's go-to when we need a quick and delicious meal. From tacos and burritos to quesadillas and tortas, there's truly something for everyone. Order your favorites now at victoricos.com.
Tony Spezza here with AAA Heating and Cooling. Was your furnace able to keep up with that crazy ice storm? Do you think your air conditioner will be ready for another scorching 110-degree July?
Ten years.
Man,
It's been too long. Damn it.
very long time, man. Shout out to Amine, man. Shout out to Portland's own Adam Daniel, man. Superstar.
Amine was a better choice.
I mean, I thought Adam Daniel would have worked well, but
I don't
Amine
think it
is
would've.
definitely a better name.
College football will have a video game again, folks.
Woo!
I cannot believe it. And you know what made it real for me this week was there's video going around of Chris Fowler showing his little recording studio that he has at his house that for the last 2 years he has been working with people over at EA Sports and getting all the correct calls and clips and audio clips of him saying like touchdown Alabama and he's uses a good example. He's like, I've recorded everything from touchdown Alabama to touchdown Wyoming, A to W.
That's
Because
crazy.
there's all those teams in between. And what was great too is he was also saying, he's like, I've had to record things that I've never even seen happen in a college football game, like punting on second down or kicking a 71-yard field goal. He's like, I've had to record things for that as well. And I'm like, see, that is yes. Like that is exact because that's the type of crap that happens
It's
in
attention to
video
detail.
games where it's like, you know what? Doesn't make sense, but we're punting on second down, okay?
I've always wondered, like, I was playing 2K the other day.
Am I making this 71-yard field goal? Nope, but
No,
we're
probably
going
not.
for it.
I'm playing 2K, and I think it's Kevin Harlan, on the call on 2K, and the guy hits for like 47 points. I was like, man, is he really somewhere recording? He's got 47. He's got 48. Like
Yeah.
51 points. Like, man, you sat there and went through one through whatever. My guy scored 111 points in the game, and he was like an NBA record 111. It's like, yo, like how many takes how long did this take to be able to do that? And for you to say
2
it's been
years,
2
Chris
years.
Fowler's been doing this.
Yeah, like,
recording different clips and
That's
stuff. Yeah.
insane, man. Like, this is gonna be such a good game. I can't wait.
And that's where I start to wonder, like, I got to start having conversations with like family members and my girlfriend about like, hey, things are gonna change.
Things are gonna change a little
in
bit.
this relationship here. Like, Joey, I'm not playing as many video games right now. Like, he's bummed with me because it seems like the only games I want to play are PGA 2K23 or Call of Duty. Like, him to play 2K with me, like, it's like pulling teeth. He's like, "You want to play 2K with me?" And I'm like, "Bro, no, I do not want to play 2K. Don't really want to play Madden."
It's all pay to play. It sucks.
Well, I mean, he just wants to, get a game in, like just a regular quick play on NBA 2K. And boy, that poor kid, he still can't beat me.
No, I'll be killing my son in 2K. Like, oh, you want to play? I'll keep it close for a little bit. Let him, kind of get his confidence up.
He plays every day, and he's still just like, what did we play the other day? He was the Pacers, and I was the Thunder. And it was a close game, but my Thunder, we pulled it out at the end. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and my boys, Chet Holmgren, we got the W in the end. And I can just see it in him that it's like, dude, he doesn't even play this game like at all. He probably plays 2K once every 3 to 4, 5 months. And here I am grinding every day, whether it be my career, my team, my GM, whatever I'm doing. Like, here I am putting in the time. And then here he comes and just picks up the sticks, and he still beats me. It's poor kid.
Get used to
poor
it. Poor
kid.
Get used to it.
It's like that in Madden. I think I might have to play him in Madden here soon, just to see if it happens in that too, because I think those are the 2 games where he wants to just finally get the win over me, just so he can be like, yes.
I tell my son, hey man, no surrender over here. Like,
Nope.
yeah, if you want to play me, you understand that I'm probably gonna beat you, bro, and beat you by a lot.
Sook likes to call me out every time and every now and then, because when COVID first started, he let me borrow his like PlayStation 3 or something like that, and then I got a copy of NCAA Football 14 from my brother-in-law. So we were playing that during that time. In the first game that I played Joey against, I think I beat him like 90-7. I gave him a touchdown at the end, which I'm still upset at myself.
21 skunk. Sorry, son. 3 touchdowns and none. Yeah, you got to get off the sticks. Who's next?
But yeah, just absolutely crushed him, just to show him like I really do this. I am him. Okay, do not try to play me. Okay, but Fortnite, whatever. He's got me in that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I guess he can have me in
it.
that. But yeah, I mean, once this game comes out, it's gonna be like me and him are gonna be fighting for that Xbox a hell of a lot more.
I've already decided I'm just gonna buy my son his own.
That might
I'm gonna
have
get him
to
the
end
S.
up.
Yeah, that's a
Just gonna
smart
get
play,
him the
guys.
S. It's only like 260. Hey, bro, like here, you have this one.
That might end up having to be the move. Is that we get
And
the
then you guys
second
can
console.
play each other, play together, like doing my career and some other stuff. So that'll
Yeah.
be fun.
Bond over video games.
Well, and then
And
you got like a second one for road trips. I mean, this is like so posh that we're talking about. Like, oh, I can bring my Xbox with me and then leave
Actually,
the other one at home. Hell
So
yeah.
I bought my son this thing called the Backbone.
Oh, I've seen those. You hook them up
So
to your phone.
It basically
Yeah.
just plug it up to your phone and you can play whatever games are on your cloud, there. So
But you still, if two people wanted to play at the same time with two backbones, you need two.
you need two.
You
You'll
need
need
two
two, of
Xboxes
course.
or two PlayStations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to talk to the girlfriend too, and just be like, "Listen, babe, there's something happening this
Sure, that's gonna
year."
go over well.
Hey, babe, football season is now all year long. Just so you know, I love you.
And like I said, as long as you're able to import your players from college onto Madden, I'll be sound as a pound.
Do
Like,
you
that's all I
think
want.
that this new iteration of college football from EA will make them push a little bit more onto Madden, maybe make that a little bit better? Or is it still just going to suck just as much?
I think it's still going to be the same Madden game we've been used to. Like, I don't think there's going to
damn.
be anything different, about it. They changed some passing things you can do on Madden last year. Cool.
It's literally a roster update now every season. They don't put any work into new features. Joe, you play MLB The Show a lot. I think you would agree that MLB The Show doesn't put a lot of work into new features anymore.
I can't
it
get
sucks.
to the majors. I can't get to the majors. I hate the show.
I'm on an MLB The Show hiatus, maybe until the new one comes out.
Oh,
Listen,
have you
man,
seen the new one?
I have not.
There are no new features
No
besides extended storylines, Derek Jeter's storyline, which just didn't get finished from last year because he was like the special cover athlete for like their extra $100 whatever expensive editions, and they just couldn't get his storylines in, so they threw him in this year.
The only reason I get the show is because
Send
it's
your
free.
side piece a gift basket.
Only reason I get
Yeah,
the show is because
Jeets.
it's free on Game Pass.
Yeah,
And so that's
that's
the only
it.
reason I get the show.
Uh,
Other
Now,
than that-
I'm
Game
telling
Pass
you-
is like $60 a month, right?
Oh no,
no, it's like 15.
15. I think they raised it to like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
bucks a
But
month.
you get all of these
Oh, yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my
You get a
God.
ton of games.
Yeah,
I mean, you
just
don't
need
get Madden right away. You get it
But
at the end of the
come,
year.
but yeah, end of the year. But then
Like right
So-
after the Super Bowl, you get Madden, and so you can play the new Madden 24 right
I
now.
might have to get me an Xbox.
telling
They
you.
give you EA, FIFA, FC, whatever they call it,
Crash
after a while.
Bandicoot.
I
know,
don't care
old
about
school
that. I'm a
games.
sports guy and
But
Call of Duty guy.
MLB The Show, they give you that like right at the beginning of the year. So the last two, 22 and 23, I've gotten those right as the season started. And then I stopped playing it because when I go through slumps, it is just drives me insane. Like I had had my player just crushing for 3 weeks. Like, bro, I've hit like 10 home runs in my last 12 games.
And then you go 7 games.
Oh
without
my
a hit.
God, bro.
It is frustrating.
The last time I played it, it was like every bat on ball in play.
Right
Caught-
to somebody.
Right. Oh, I would think it's gone. I'm like, oh, that's a home run. That's out of here. Caught at the warning track. I'm sending lasers right to the third baseline, and then they're getting me out. Like it is.
I never make it past AAA.
I'm undisciplined as hell, though. I'm swinging at everything. So that's. I'm
Absolutely.
always.
Ditto to that.
I'm putting myself in
100%.
pitchers counts all the time.
Power
and then
swings every single time.
I've got the problem where I'll use the indicator with my thumb, like you're trying to hit it towards the ball. I will just go in the complete opposite direction, like I'm just an idiot. Like, oh, it's up and away, and I'm going down and inside. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I can't do
So
it, man.
stupid.
I've played too much. It'll take 3 months, and I'm still in AAA. Like I don't even want to play this anymore. I'm good.
Hey, one more thing to look forward to. Hope springs eternal. Finish the show next here. Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Hello, sports
these last couple days.
Knock
little-
on wood as we're saying that. Just
Oh,
to-
it's going to be terrible this week. I've already looked at the forecast. I'm trying to get out to the course here soon. Trying to slide in 9 holes, as I do.
that many, huh?
You know me. But as a golfer, there is one thing that is coming up on the calendar that I am extremely excited for, that everybody should be excited for. And it's in 2 Sundays from now.
Okay.
Daylight savings time, baby. We get our hour back. We get our hour back. Now that is coming up pretty damn soon too. That is in like a month and a half or so.
It's always what that signifies to me. When daylight savings time comes back, you're like, oh, golf is coming, and that means it's the Masters.
Hello,
Hello,
friends.
$2
Oh my God.
egg sandwiches.
Yeah.
Pimento cheese.
Yeah. You like pimento cheese? Are you a fan?
Oh, it is so good, dude.
Do you like it?
I don't
I
know
love
if I've
pimento
ever
cheese.
had a good pimento cheese before, but
Well,
I
when it
might
only-
just have to try it, friends.
When it only costs $2 at the Masters, it tastes amazing.
Cheap ass food. Don't complain. It's only a $2 sandwich. Suck it up. What
Thank
else
you
do
for being my
That's the
friend.
least they can do is charge cheap food. How much is it to get into the Masters?
Oh, it's actually not bad. I think a spot in the yearly lottery is around $150, maybe less than $200, and that
And that's just the lottery.
no,
That's just the
no.
CFI.
That's if you win the lottery.
Yeah.
That's how much your ticket costs.
Okay.
So you don't get charged if you don't.
How much is it if you don't win the lottery?
0.
Yeah, you don't have to pay.
No,
to
it's just like if
be
you
in
win,
the
this is how much it
lottery.
costs. It's not
Yeah.
that bad.
No, I'm talking as far as a ticket. Like how? So, $150. That's what it is. So
That'll get you, I believe, into like a practice round. But for like a full, if you want to go
I want
for
the full shebang.
well,
Oh.
you only get one day.
Okay. Well, I want the third day. I want Sunday.
Oh, good luck,
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's Sunday?
Joe. How much is that?
I am looking at what is this? This is on mybucketlistevents.com. Scrolling. All right. Oh my God. I don't know where you got that 150 price, bud. According to this website, including ticket and hospitality, Thursday is $3,500.
Yeah, I was gonna say 150 for
Fri-
the lottery.
Friday is $3,000. Saturday and Sunday are each $2,650. I mean, even just to go to the Monday or Tuesday practice round, you're dropping at least $1,700, $2,000.
And you said Sunday is what? 2,500.
Now this has to be like some sort of package. Yeah, okay. So transportation, optional lodging. I mean, this has to be some sort of package they're selling on this one. There's no way that it can cost this much for a single ticket.
That's what I'm saying, you guys. Yeah, that's everything together.
Okay.
Practice round tickets. This is from Golf Monthly in 2023. Practice round tickets cost $75. It is cheaper to get in, but it's the costs associated with getting to the tournament and staying at the tournament that make it
Yes.
super spendy.
Okay, I retract my statement. That was definitely a website just trying to hawk
Again,
me a
probably
travel
don't want to go to a
package
quick
the
practice round, but
Masters.
if I find myself, in Augusta, Georgia, right? Like, how much? And it's Sunday. How much for this Sunday ticket for the Masters?
Yeah, it says tournament day tickets start at $140.
Thank you. So you said, where did I get my $150 number? Right there, Mr. Joe Fisher.
Very good.
Yeah, again, I almost got
You almost got hosed.
coaxed into a package. Well, I guess I got to drop $2,000 to go to the Masters. But yes, here, I mean, yeah, with lodging and all that. Honestly, I am a cheap traveler. Like, you get me going out of state anywhere, give me a couch. Honestly, like, I will sleep in a damn car if I have cool activities and things to do
This is why I want to buy an RV.
while I'm there. Like, I don't need a 5-star hotel. I don't need a resort to stay at. When I went to Hawaii, I stayed at my aunt's. I slept on her fold-out couch, and that's all I was there for her at her house for. You think I was just chilling at her house while I was in Hawaii?
She probably
No,
made some pretty good food.
she wasn't there most of the time. She was house sitting for someone
Oh,
else.
there
So,
you
like,
go.
I just moseyed up, dude. Like, I'm in Hawaii. Like, I'm not just gonna be chilling at the apartment, like staying
Yeah.
there. Like, I will be having things to do. If I'm going to Augusta, Georgia, again, I will sleep in a cardboard box outside of the gates of Augusta.
I don't know if you've ever been to Augusta, Georgia, either of you,
No,
but
I've
there's,
never been.
there's
I've
not
never
a
been,
lot. There's not a lot. Having passed it before, there's not a lot, and then all of a sudden, you see, oh shoot, is this where the Masters is? Like, oh, okay, and then you go right back to a bunch of like strip malls and stuff like that.
Is that I'm trying to think of other bucket list items though, as far as sports go. Going to the Masters would be cool. Army Navy game would be pretty cool. I just feel like cost wise, going to a Super Bowl is never, ever, ever gonna happen in my life. So kind of like
No, I got to get them
strike
tickets for
that
free.
out.
Like that's
Um,
the only way I'm going to the Super Bowl.
I think going to just like a major golf tournament. My dad and I almost went to the Chambers Bay U.S. Open back in 2015. Uh, that's one of those moments where I blame my dad. That he was supposed to put that together. He was supposed to come through on that, and he didn't. Put
Didn't you
that
go
on
to the,
him.
didn't you go to the Winco Foods Open?
Ooh.
That's a
I did
that's a-
not go to the Winco
That's a
Foods
big
Open.
tournament.
You got to get to like the big races too, like the Daytona 500,
The
the
what?
Indy 500.
Whoa.
Races.
Whoa.
I heard that too.
Oh,
You guys
let's
are
chill
funny.
out. Let's chill out, Jordan.
Well,
No,
hell,
yeah.
Let's get to the big
I think we-
races.
I think we
No.
talked about that. Like so, last week.
well, you
we
go
were-
to the races, Daytona 500. You might get some. races.
Yeah,
Or
the
they
Indy
might-
500
They,
as well.
they might cancel our show for 30 minutes, to make sure they can do the Daytona 500. However, we talked about this when you weren't here. Is that, man? If you've never been to a NASCAR race, like
Gotta go.
like I went to one in Vegas and it was like, okay, this is the real thing. This isn't quite PIR over here. Like this is the real thing. There was beer and boobs and all type of stuff.
A lot of
Barbecues,
boobs.
like that's all you really need. Beer, boobs, barbecue. Like I'm set. I'm
That-
set. I
I
thought
mean,
it was
if
great.
that's not a country song already, I mean,
Is
it
it?
has to be made.
I
I said if
guarantee
it's
it
not,
is.
beer, boobs,
Beer, boobs, and barbecue.
I like it. I like it.
sounds like some Wheeler Walker Jr. if I've ever heard it.
I don't know who that is, but yeah.
Oh, buddy, I'll.
No, you don't have to.
No, you trust
no,
me.
it's all good. I mean,
You'll like Wheeler Walker after I introduce you to him. Go Google him. Go to his Spotify. You'll enjoy yourself. I am gonna go try and get that game more dialed in today because golf season's here, baby. Now that I don't have to coach basketball, that's the one thing. It's a bittersweet moment, it's ending the season with the boys and not having basketball anymore. But trust me, getting the Saturdays back, I'm ready. I'm ready to swing the
I
sticks.
feel you. Well, I mean, I hope that you're able to, get some good, get some
Oh, I-
swings out there.
I won't. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
hope you're able to kind of perfect your form.
trust me, there's always the optimism right before you go golfing or go to the driving range. You're like, dude, I think this could be the day.
Yeah.
I think
And then
I
you
think
hit those first 3 balls, like, okay, no, it's
we're
not.
going low today. And then immediately first tee driver, that thing slicing off into the woods. You're like, all right, I remember this. I know how this goes.
I'm sure you cleaned up a top golf though.
Oh yeah, I'm a simulator monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crushing at the simulator, that's like being a JV all-star.
Oh,
Killing it
okay.
at practice. You don't want to see me on the
Excuse
practice
hell out of
field.
me.
All right. Appreciate everybody listening. We will be back next week for our first show of March. Can't believe that it's already March. Thank
Crazy.
God it's already March. Rashad, thank you as always.
My God.
Jordan, glad to have you back.
Love you guys.
Again, thank you everybody for listening. Catch you next week. Peace.
Aloha, sports fans. It's Marcus from the 808. How's